Hey, is it hard?
Silence where you can unleash your inner voice with authentic Nicole. People ask me all the time why I do what I do. My vision is to shine a light on everyday people, great people, so that we all can win. Silence. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. I am so excited about this episode because it's another legend on the stage from Marion County. Mullins and Marion, stand up. We are at 64th episode of Breaking the Silence, and I'm so excited. So, let me tell you a little bit about today's guest. He is a connection from my cousin, Contrell Phenomenal, and I want to thank him publicly again for bringing such great people to my platform. Great people. So he is an actor, director, producer, teacher, poet, musician, teaching artist, co-founder of the Black Creators Collective nonprofit organization, which brings knowledge and resources to the undeserved communities and creating opportunities for artists of color in LA. That's great. All those titles I just said. See all this greatness coming out of Marion County? You see why I say I represent my people? Yes, we are great. He's played in movies such as Up Low and Concrete Rose and so many more. Like I said, he's originally from Marion County. He resides now in Los Angeles. His favorite quote is, "Whatever you do, strive to do it so well that no man living, no man dead, no man yet to be born could do it better." So, after this countdown, please welcome this amazing guest from my hometown, my county, to the stage.
Are you awake?
I've been stuck in this hospital room for 3 days. I'm Nyla, by the way.
Dante.
The news said something about it being in the coast of Florida.
Hope it's not too bad out there. What were they calling it?
Katrina, I think.
Nobody's coming for us. We're stuck in here.
Yes. How you doing?
Peace and blessings. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being a guest on Breaking the Silence. I really do appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, family. Yeah.
Awesome. Quick fact, everybody. We just connected backstage before we got on. I was like,
Right.
We were so close to each other and didn't even know that we were in the same vicinity all these years. Like he's literally from my hometown.
And didn't even know too. I didn't know that you're related to Cottrell. I'm related to him as well.
Wow. So
his grandfather and my mother's father are brothers.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, let me find out we family.
Hey, come on. Send me some money. Come on, cousin.
Cousin. Oh man, you a mess. So what triggered you to start your career in acting?
Oh, that's a good question. I always tell people this story. So growing up, in Marion, I was an athlete. So I was focusing on baseball, football, little league, all of that, right? I was kind of like a prodigy in baseball. And so I had a cousin, my cousin Cent. She lives in Charleston, but she's originally from Marion too. So I was in 8th grade, getting ready to go into 9th grade. So this was Christmas of my 8th grade year. She pulled me into one of the bedrooms at my great grandmother's house. And she was like, so Juan, what are you going to be doing? What are your plans next year in high school? I was like, well, I'm going to focus on baseball and, some football or what have you. So, okay, great. You need to try theater. I was like, what? Nah, not me. Nah. And the impetus of that is because I've always been good with impersonation. I used to impersonate the family, uncles, preachers in the neighborhood, whatever. So they used to have me be the comic relief in the family. And so she was like, no, you're really good with characters. You should do it. I was like, nah, man, that's going to cramp my style. And she was like, you don't have no damn style. You're 13. Like, this is what you need to do, so you're going to do it. And she's like a mother figure, and her and my father grew up like brother and sister, even though they first cousins. They like brother and sister. So I said yes and started there at high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
and I'm glad that she offered that to me, that perspective. Because, when you're young, when you're a child, you think what's going to be. So I always tell, parents, please, let your children expose them to all kinds of things because you never know what will stick. Because, some of us, we have multiple talents. I just didn't know that a career could come from this,
Exactly. So,
yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So you started when you was like 13 years old?
Yeah, and we had a theater department at Marion High School. Yeah. Wow. Think about it. So I'm dating myself, but this is late 90s. I'm starting high school. And the theater department at Marion High started in 1980. So that was just yesterday, right? And think about how many schools in the area have theater departments. Like we had an actual stage. We had a theater classroom. We had a scene shop, doing props, making props, sets, all of that. We had a professional theater. Yeah.
I didn't know Marion High had all of that. Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Yeah. And I will share this. What also helped me, and I've been so blessed, is that at the end of my sophomore year, our teacher, Mrs. Wisnut, and shout out to Ms. Wisnut, she always been a supporter of mine. She retired. So the program was in shambles. And so there was this lady named Mrs. Margaret Santee, right? She used to be a college professor. Her and her husband moved to Myrtle Beach. She saw it in the newspaper, on the news, that we were needing a teacher. And she said, well, I would like to work with some high school students. And so she comes to, get the gig. Obviously, they were like, well, you used to be a professor at I think University of West Virginia. And they were like, oh, wow, yeah, you're hired. And she took a liking to me. She started training me. And, some of the great playwrights like Shakespeare, Ibsen, Chekhov, you name it. Like, we're working with all this text. Then she started getting me in these different theater competitions. Like, they had one called the Palmetto Dramatic Association for the Arts that used to be held every year for high school students at Winthrop University, right? In Rock Hill. She got me into that. Next thing you know, I'm in the state newspaper. I'm in the Marion Muller Star, right? Marion Muller's Enterprise. Yeah, I'm in that, right? Like, she had me in competitions in Charleston, and I won an award and all of this stuff. Next thing you know, I'm getting programs like DePaul University in Chicago, right? University of Cincinnati, Howard, all interested in me auditioning to get into their theater programs. Juilliard. And I didn't know none of this. I was like, what is it? What? She was like, Dejuan, you're really good. Let's just keep working on your craft. And
there you are. Took off.
Yeah. And I said, I thank you to her too. I tried to find her. I was like, she fell off the earth. I hope she's still, with us and everything. But, God's willing, timing, maybe we'll get to meet up again. If I can just tell her thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what do you think the biggest misconception about acting that people think?
Well, to be an actor, to be considered a professional actor, you have to be famous, right? And that's not true. Some of the hardest working artists in this industry are people you don't know day-to-day basis, or they might even be working other jobs, right? Waiting tables before you quote unquote make it, right? Like, you'll look at somebody like, let's say like a Viola Davis, right? Most people who don't really know the craft, they know Viola Davis probably from even before her famous TV series. You might have saw in Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 Cent's grandmother, or you might have saw her in Antoine Fisher, right? But this woman had an illustrious career on Broadway in theater for years, right? So, some of us, we pay our dues, and people will just say, you made it overnight. Like, nah, it's been like 40 years overnight,
Exactly.
So I would think that's a misconception, and that is easy. And, I'm not one to, I remember when I was in college, Samuel L. Jackson caught some flack about saying, how these rappers and singers, and, they just come into our, arena, and they don't respect the craft, and they don't train. And you just think, oh, everybody can act.
Right.
But it's a skill set, just like anything else. Like, I can't just be a seamstress. I just can't sew a jacket just because I want to do it, or be a mechanic or what have you. So it takes time to learn craft, how to, use emotion correctly and those things. So yeah, not to be too long-winded, but yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you a funny question. You know how in the movies where you have these scenes where you have to cry, like you just had that scene. How did you make yourself cry like that? That was just so real.
Yeah, it's just well, for me, I come from theater. So high school, college, went to grad school for a while. You learn these different methods, these processes of how to emote. And to be honest with you, how for me, I find it works to effectively, display emotion is going to the place where tears come from. Because a lot of people might look at the tears and be like, oh, he's crying. It's not the tears that affect you. It's going to the place where tears come from. Because a lot of times in real life, when we're crying in public, we're trying not to.
Right.
So we're pulling something back. That's the tension of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it starts inside. It's like, still waters run deep, right? It took me years, and theater showed me what that really meant. Like, on the surface, you see those waters looking calm, but beneath deep, they're churning. Right. And that's what it starts inside. Because if you think about something that's affected you, it's something inside where you like, you feeling inside, and then it spills over. And that's
But you know what? I think that makes the great actors separate from the regular actors because or actress because those that feel that emotion and really make it look real, like that's amazing. Like I think that you probably have to think about something what sad to really get where you want to go, something that really hurts you, maybe.
Well, that is a certain method, that some people have. Now, I think that method could be problematic. That came out of the group theater of Stanislavski. And he used to do memory recall. So thinking about like something that would make you sad and things of that nature, right? And I remember like diving into that in high school and some in undergrad. But I remember doing an exercise, a Meisner technique as well, in grad school for a little. And this actor, Sanford Meisner, he came out of the group theater on Stanislavski, right? And he even said there's a loophole in that method, right? Of recalling, right? Is because what happens if you don't have an experience to recollect on?
Right.
And I remember that happened one time with a wonderful artist playing a scene where somebody close to you has transitioned. Well, this actress never lost somebody close to her. She never knew her grandparents. She didn't have siblings, so she was the only child. She never had a pet. And I remember I was like, oh, snap. Now, for me at the time, I've had pets that passed. I had loved ones that was not a problem for me. But then I was like, oh, wow. So then I started learning up the different methodologies of how to really effectively communicate. And that's our job as an artist, is to tell the truth, be comfortable being vulnerable, and be honest. But you'll be surprised how hard that is for some people, whether you're on stage in front of people or in front of the camera. But we do it every day.
Every day.
Like if you go to a job, I always tell people you're acting. You don't like all your coworkers. You don't. But when that coworker, let's keep it real. I never liked all my coworkers. But that coworker that was coming, I'm like, here you go. Hey, how's it going? All right. Like, yeah. The weekend was, man, you had a cookout.
Wow. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't do too much. Yeah, man. Cool. He was like, hey, man, let's grab a few beers. I don't even drink. Yeah, man, sure. Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at the time. And we'll have to get on this Zoom in a meeting, but I'm going to get back with you.
Right.
I mean, have a good one. Cool. Now, all the people out there, they might be like, oh, man, he really lying? He told me.
Yeah.
Understand we all have done it. So
we all have done it every day. That's sad.
Yes.
Oh, man. So what challenges do you face as an actor? Are there any challenges that you have faced?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Challenges. Number one is, how do you make a living? Yeah. Because, on this side of the pond, meaning England, overseas, like people don't take you serious. Like people, it's like, I'm not an actor unless I'm an A-lister or a B-lister, unless you actually know the TV show I'm from or that, right? So, and it's not easy being an artist because like theater, that's your training ground. You learn a lot, you grow a lot, but it doesn't pay.
Right.
Like I've done readings, where it's good work. I'm working with other artists and having a potential of trying to get this thing to stage, and you get paid $50 and some chicken.
Right? And some chicken.
You know what I mean? I've been blessed to do plays where I've made, some good money, where a couple of, $1,000 in a week. You know what I mean? Weekly. I've done it all in between. But then after 8 weeks, 12 weeks, then what? You see what I'm saying? So how do you keep this thing going? So, that's always the challenge. And then also too, in those moments of when it's quiet, like last year was very challenging for me because I was auditioned for a few pilots, didn't go through. Auditioned for a few plays, didn't go through. And I want to do my work. I've given so much time and effort and energy attaining, education and skill set on stage. Well, this is what I do. I want to do it, but then it just wasn't right for the parts, right?
Wow.
And so what happens when I'm not even able to express myself on that stage or in front of that camera to get that money, that also goes along with it. Because I can still express myself in other ways with my poetry or put up my own something like that. Music, I can do that. But sometimes it is challenging as an actor when it's quiet for you to be comfortable in that quietness, and because it can get very loud. And then also you see other individuals that you're rooting for getting blessing on top of blessing on top of blessing, and you're like, oh wow.
But your time, but it's God's time, and you know that it's God's time.
I have a wonderful mentor by the name of J.D. Hall, and a wonderful actor. Man, this man's been around for a while. You've seen him on TV shows. He's been on theater. He's been on stage. And he said something to me. He was like, Dejuan, you remind me of myself when I was a young man. All this fervor, you want to go get it. But he was like, if God doesn't intend it for you, you'll never catch it.
There it is.
But if it's intended for you, it'll never get by you. So just focus on being the best version of yourself you can and do the work, and everything will take care of itself. Exactly. And I would say he's correct.
Exactly. I mean, everything is in God's time, and if we just be patient, everything good is gonna come to you. Just gotta.
But it's so true, right? Like in this industry, it will really show you that patience is a virtue. But that's one of the hardest things to do. Specifically, like when you work in multiple jobs. And I'll speak for myself. I've worked jobs that didn't pay much just so I can have an opportunity to audition. Like, I have a degree in mass communication as well as theater.
Right.
So I could go out and get a job that pays 6 figures. Right. I've been blessed in that area. But working a traditional 9-to-5 does nothing for me. I've done it. And these jobs will tell you, oh, man, we understand that you're an artist. Yeah, we'll support you. But after the third audition at 2:00, they're like, hey, man, we need you here. Or they want to fire you or what have you. So I've had to find ways like doing security work or driving Uber or Lyft or being a personal trainer at times, like all these different things. You find ways and you take jobs paying you minimum wage. I'm here in California. So $15, $16 an hour just to have a shot at an audition. So sometimes, and you feel that you're perfect for the role and you don't get it for whatever reason, sometimes you start pressing and you're like, well, when is my time coming? It has to come. I don't put in so much time. But then you think about yourself and then you think about others that you meet. You're not the only person that's moved out here from a different place who's putting in that work. So why you?
Why you? What makes you different?
Exactly. So just show up, do the work, and things that take care of themselves.
I agree. So how have you overcome the word no? The word that everybody dreads.
Oh, embrace it. Hey, as an actor, it's part of the byline of your description. Of who we are. Like you hear no a million more times than you ever hear yes.
Right.
But then I understand the power of no. I can say no as well too. And I have. I've gotten things, whether it's been a commercial or an opportunity for be a guest star on a TV show, and I've said no. I'm talking about, hey, it could have been $15,000 just for a few hours. And I was like, nah, that's no.
Not for me.
Just not for me, right? There's power in it. And also to know that just because somebody says no to you, that doesn't mean that they're saying no forever. Right. So we understand that it's a thing about winning the room. There's been times where I've gone in for an audition, casting director said, you know what? He's not right for the part. No. But then next thing I know, another casting director has said, hey, you auditioned for such and such, right? Yeah, I did. Yeah, they told me you gave a wonderful read, a wonderful audition. They loved your energy in the room. I'd love for you to audition for me if you like winning the room. So even that no became a yes later for me in something else.
You was where you supposed to be to get the yes.
You see what I'm saying? That's the truth. And so, yeah, you get over that. You hear, okay, no, okay, on to the next audition. No, okay, open the next door for the next room. No, okay, keep going. Because the more times you get in those rooms or those doors, somebody's going to say yes.
Somebody's going to say yes. You're right.
And also to realize it's not personal.
Right.
Sometimes, yeah.
I agree. So tell me a little bit about Black Creators Collective. What is your vision behind that?
So with that, this is another thing that helped me navigate the no's, right? So we all Black brothers and sisters, artists who met out here in Los Angeles, who are actors, writers, producers, comedians, who said, you know what, we want to do something, and we shouldn't just be waiting around for Hollywood to employ us.
Right. And
then also we want to give back to our community. So, and one of my wonderful friends, her name is Mildred Marie Langford. We call her Millie. She's a wonderful artist. And a few of us reached out to her at different times and had conversations, and she sent out an edict one day. She sent out an email saying, hey, let's have a meeting, a powwow of the collective minds in my apartment in North Hollywood a few years ago. And we did. And we just started talking about what we're going through as different artists and what we desire, as artists, what we want from the industry, what we want to do in between time. And lo and behold, a lot of us had the same kind of thoughts. And so we formed like Voltron and came up with this organization, the Black Creators Collective.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, it was formed February 18, 2019. And the beautiful thing about it is we all are skilled, all trained, educated, and you don't have to go to a traditional college to be skilled. I'm not saying that, but we all are, though, pretty much. But we all are proud to be Black people. Most of us come from the South. Let me see. I think, my friend Kanisha, she's from Cleveland. Ebony's from Cleveland, and Cecil's from LA. And then we have Shanae, she's from Philadelphia. Everybody else is from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Alabama. It's just, yeah. And do the work.
Do y'all have like people to join it?
Yeah. Like some of the members of it were not the original founders. Some people came up later, and we did readings. Like one of my friends, Ladarian Williams, and shout out to him. He's recently a New York Times bestseller for his book Blood at the Root, and I was part of his short film. Yeah, you should look him up. Wonderful brother. He's a member of the Black Creators Collective. He created this incubator series where playwrights, he's a playwright as well. A lot of playwrights, it's hard to get their words from the page to the stage. So what he would do is create this series where these emerging playwrights in Los Angeles, Black playwrights, would get an opportunity to have a professional reading done of their work, have an audience there and get feedback and, just to develop their work.
Right.
And so, yeah, we've done things of that nature. And then from that, it's been, other playwrights who've had their work done or actors who come to support, like, hey, I'd like to get down with this, be a part of it. Like, all right, come to a meeting.
So do they have to be from LA though? I mean, do they have to be in the area?
I would say that would be the best because, we're small, but we do a lot of work in the communities of the greater LA community. But I don't think you really have to because we have family on the East Coast, friends in New York, friends in the Midwest, Chicago, you know what I mean? But to actually put boots to the ground, we would love for you to be here because, we're a small group, but we're mighty. And, but yeah, we just come together and we do the work in the community. We allow the youth to come and get on stage and experience theater in different formats, whether it's playwriting, whether it's sound design, lighting design, whether it's costuming, right? Because everybody's not going to be an actor, but who's going to clothe the actors?
Right.
They have a costume designer. And so you're going into the schools, and sometimes you talk to some of these students, they're like, nah, theater ain't for me. I'm like, but I like your style though. Like the way you put those earrings on, sister. Why you got those earrings the same way when you have with your shoes, they match. Oh, because of boom, boom, boom. Like, do you know the origin of those shoes? Oh, yeah. Sometimes like, yeah, that's from the 90s. Boom, boom, boom. Well, guess what? My favorite playwright, August Wilson, got to play Radio Golf 1997. Won't you come and use your ingenuity and dress
Be
some of
creative.
it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And be creative, and then you get them in there. Once you start getting the kids into the theater, there it is.
I got to connect for you. That's why I asked that. I had a guest that was on the platform in my first season. He's an actor.
Okay.
He's been on some episodes with Tyler Perry Productions.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna make sure I connect you two to each other.
Most definitely.
Definitely. Okay, so which one of your projects would you think is the most memorable for you, and why?
That's tough. Wow. If I have to choose one, it would be the short film Blood at the Root, because it was made with love, friends just coming together, saying yes. Like I said, my buddy LaDarian Williams, he's a New York Times bestseller now. His book that he wrote, right, was a young adult fantasy novel. He has a 3-book deal. And like literally the book is flying off the shelf in Barnes and Nobles and all of that. It was born from the short film.
Wow.
And he's a young brother that I met out here. And he's from Alabama. He's younger than me, but similar backstories. Young men from the South with talent trying to make it happen, who honor their mothers, their fathers, their grandparents, and want to tell the stories of our people that come before us in the cotton fields, in the sugarcane plantations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That stuff, sharecropping and all of that. And so he had this vision. And, you know, he went to Netflix and all these different houses. And they were like, yeah, just do a trailer or something of that nature, and then we can revisit. So then he did that. And then when we started filming, he was like, well, let's just do a whole film. And so I think it's a beautiful thing to see young brothers and sisters that come together. No agendas, not worrying about money, just off the strength of love. And how we were raised, right? Like I was raised that way. Like money will come. But when your brother and your sister is in need, you say yes.
Yes.
Your blessings come from. So, you know, I've done some other things, but I would say off the top of my dome right now, it would be that. And to see what it's become, right? So us linking together as brothers and sisters is what is showing what we need to do and what we should do, because it's work.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. So, and his success is my success and other success. Right. And so, yeah, I would say, yeah, Blood at the Root.
Wow. See, people don't get that. They don't get, you know, sometimes we're like, why are you do what you do? I do what I do because I want all of us to win. I really do want us to all get where we need to go.
There's room for all of us.
It's room. And it doesn't take nothing to support each other. Doesn't cost a thing.
$3.99, free. and peace and blessings and love on individuals too, whose society is hardening their hearts, where maybe they started off having compassion and, you know, wanted to help others, but plenty of people shut the doors in their faces and it forced them to become hardened. You know, peace and blessings upon them too, and hopefully they could get back to that love and that edification and that nurturing and upliftment of their community and our people, because that's one of the tricks the enemy has done is use money and riches in front of us to separate us and divide us and think that's the end goal. We have all the riches within us, like seriously, all the knowledge. We're the original people on the planet, the first people on the planet. Like everybody studies us, our music, the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we dress. So if we stop looking outside and look inwards, hello.
You
know, sometimes it takes some time, and then, you know, you just get your show going on the road, and others will see it, and they'll come on board. So I think we just be the example of that. But yeah, peace on our family too. That's right now, for whatever reason, you know, their spirit can't give or be in that place for love, because the world ain't easy.
It's not.
It's
It's
not.
not.
I always say this, like, and you know, when I talk to students, I'm like, listen, the world is hard enough when you do everything right.
Tell me about it.
You know what I'm saying? So don't shoot yourself in the foot. Like, it's hard enough when you do everything right.
Everything
Specifically
right.
being black.
That's the strike in itself.
That's the thing. Like, some people like, you playing the race card. I'm not. I'm telling the truth.
It's the truth.
When you black, you born in America, you born with 2 strikes against you. I mean, let's come on. They had redlining. We see the communities that was built in this community. Like when people, like we were talking backstage, where my great grandmother lived in front of the railroad track. She was on a different side of the railroad track. We didn't create that shit.
Yep. Exactly.
We was holding the mirror up to society. We from South Carolina.
That's it.
That's a red state, a Republican state. More slaves than any other out of the Union. What are we talking about? Out of the Confederacy. Like, these are facts.
Facts.
When black folks was getting that Confederate flag torn down in Columbia, all hell was breaking loose. That was just a few years ago.
Literally.
The youngest man to go to the electric chair, George Stanley Jr., that was in South Carolina. So we ain't lying. We telling the truth.
Truth.
You know, don't let me get on this soapbox.
All right, cuz. All right. You get ready to tell them now. She was gonna preach. I was like, okay, go ahead.
Oh Lord Jesus, in the midnight hour. In closing, which means you never close.
I was gonna let you have it though. I just like, okay,
won't be going to dry dock for another 2 hours.
Oh my God, you a man.
Oh, dry dock. I miss dry dock.
Oh Lord. So what advice would you give to actors that are trying to make it, that, you know, how they say starving actors and actress, like that's at the beginning and they're like, you know what, I don't think I can do this anymore. What advice do you give to them? Because, you know, it's hard out there when you're trying to get these roles in the beginning, but you're trying to hold this 9-to-5 job too, because you don't want to be that broke, starving artist. What advice do you give to those type of people? And
you don't want to be broke. I would say that you don't want to be starving, right? You want to be hungry. And I say this all the time. Like, people be like, what do you mean by that? When you're starving, you'll compromise yourself to eat. But if you're hungry, that's something that keep you fight for something, keep going. So there's nothing wrong with working at Starbucks for less than Starbucks. All right. Working for Lyft, you know what I mean? You find a way to sustain, right? To that next day come, and that next day come. And then I would say you gotta form a tribe. It's not saying you can't make it on your own, but it's hard. Even wolves are in a pack. Dogs go in a pack. Like, it's hard to be on your own. In those dark times, you need somebody you can just confide in, or somebody that you just have an outlet or you could create with, because you're not alone out here, right? So yeah, form a tribe, and find also something outside of acting that can stick to you, that can nurture you, and that can you know, stick to your spirit and nurture your spirit, whether it's music, whether it's a different form of art, whether it's, you know, reading a book, being part of a book club, martial arts, whatever. You need something else too that can take your mind and your spirit, you know, from that, because you can get in a world of trouble when you're just all day, every day, just focusing on this one thing that could take forever to get momentum, you know, going for you. So yeah, focus on building relationships with individuals that are like-minded with you. Try not to be starving, so don't be ashamed to work these extra jobs, you know, even if they're not paying great, because you need to try to keep a roof over your head. You need to keep food in your belly so you can keep going. And also, I think the biggest thing too is to be kind and respectful and gracious to people. And I mean that. Like, I say this a lot. You would be surprised how many people block their blessings here. Because in Los Angeles, the respect you earn is your paycheck a lot of times. When people recognize you from a certain TV show or being a certain tier of an artist, A, B, C, D, whatever, that's how some people treat you. But that don't mean that's how I'm going to be tomorrow.
Right.
Right? Like who's down today can be up tomorrow. Who's up today can be down tomorrow.
Right.
And so I don't know how many times where down the road favor has come my way from me. It just when I'm doing a play, I speak to everybody. I was raised that way. Hey, how you doing? I don't care if you're the custodian. I don't care if you're the director. I'm gonna treat you both the same because you're human beings.
Facts. And
then later on, next thing I know, somebody's reaching out. Hey, you work with such and such, such and such. I don't even remember the person. But they loved your energy and you were a cool person, man. Hey, can you come to Fox and audition?
Sure.
Whoever this, thank you. Blessing. You know what I mean? These things. So yeah, be kind. Like, you know what I mean? Have some respect for other individuals and also respect for your craft. Never stop working. Work. Now you could come out here and be at a gas station, be jogging with your shirt off or something, or be in the gym working and somebody sees you and they might put you in a movie. That can happen. That's happened. But more than likely, that's not how it's going to be.
Right.
You have to do the work. So also work on your craft. Don't come out here or in New York or Atlanta, Chicago, and become complacent.
Mm-hmm.
Do the work.
But see, you know, it's funny you said that because you said be kind. It is the way that we are raised. Like literally, just be kind, be respectful. Like, and it'll take you a long way. Respect.
My grandmother used to say that all the time. A smile and a pleasant personality can take you further than $1.
Okay.
It's true.
Okay. Everybody deserves the time of the day, is what my mom used to say. Speak to people. Be nice to people.
You won't even be surprised. Sometimes, like, I've been in situations where, like, I remember my first representation out here, right? My first manager. I was working out in the gym. And there was this gentleman I've seen come into this gym a few times. I ain't say nothing to him, but I always used to see him for some reason. Energy. I was like, and then one day he came in, he had an Oakland A's hat on. And I used to live in the Bay for a while. I lived in Oakland and everything, right? Because I went to school in San Francisco. And I spoke to him. I said, hey, brother, you from the Bay? He was like, yeah, I'm from Oakland. I said, oh, you from the town. And then we started rapping. And, you know, and he was like, where you from? I said, I'm from South Carolina where everything is finer. But I used to live in the Bay. Like, I always say that. And he was like, so what do you do? I said, well, I'm an artist. I'm an actor. Da, 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 da. Oh, me too. Blah, 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 blah. And we just started talking. And he was like, well, how long you been in LA? I was like, a few weeks, actually. I said, yeah, it's daunting trying to, you know, navigate these waters. I got to try to figure out how to get representation. And he was like, oh, you need representation? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, send me your stuff. I'll try to get you a meeting with my reps. Being honest with you, just like that.
Wow.
And from that, my first audition down here was for the show Modern Family on a Fox lot. Even though it was an ABC show, they shot on Fox. From just talking with that man, just speaking to him, conversation, he was kind. He didn't have to do that. He did. And my first audition was for a network.
Wow. Yeah. But I mean, you got to connect to people because whether they realize.
Just talking, speaking to somebody. You just never know what things can become, what they can lead to.
People need people.
True.
Period.
Facts. Yeah. You just never know who you're standing next to.
You don't.
You know what I mean? Or who can be listening, ear hustling to a conversation that you're having.
Exactly. But see, we're so busy being crabs in a barrel, in a bucket, that they don't want to see the next person go to what is someone else getting success going to do for you?
Right.
It's not going to stop you. We all have the same opportunities.
And if you, that's right. We all got the same amount of hours in a day, right? What you're going to do with it. But then also you can look at others and see how they've done things. Like I always think about Matt Damon, Casey, and Affleck, and what's the older Affleck is with J-Lo. Lord have mercy. Any other time, I guess his Casey's the younger brother. But anyway, Matt Damon was homeless back in the day, destitute, broke. He was living on his friend's couch, right? And Matt Damon ends up becoming a star. What did he do? He reached back and he brought his friends who, you know what I mean, who helped him out.
That's how you're supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And one thing I would say, even Sidney Poitier, he talks about that in his book, Measure of a Man, how when he left the Bahamas and he got to New York, how he was just trying to make it and doors were just slamming in his face. And he talks about how Harry Belafonte was big time in theater in New York. And he had this thick Bahamian accent going on. He really was only reading no further than like a second, third grade education. And he went to this audition, and this man said, "You're going to be no more than a dishwasher." And he was like, "How did he know I'm a dishwasher?" Trying to make it, right? And he reached out to Harry. Harry Belafonte took him under his wing, helped guide him and nurture him. So did Ruby Dee. So did Ossie Davis. Those people. Then next thing you know, boom, Sidney Poitier blows. But what did he do? He reached back. And I'm saying all that to say is there's nothing wrong with being kind to someone and watching a friend of you that you pour into grow. Because if they're kind and they might be, they might reciprocate the love. And they might say, "Hey, you know what? Hey, I got a friend that's wonderful for this role. Can you see him? Can you see her? Hey, can you show up to be part of this read?" Most of this stuff in this industry and life period is about connections.
Everything.
Yeah, most definitely.
So that's why if I see a connection, I'm always trying to see where I can fit somebody at. And that's why I say, I got somebody for you. I got a perfect person for you.
Right.
And I'm going to shoot that name to you after
cool.
we get
I appreciate it. Yeah. The more the merrier. I love meeting my people, good people, building these relationships.
That's what it's all about. So as we wrap up our conversation, this has been good. I have my most important question for you is what's next for you and how can people follow your journey?
Ooh, what's next? Well, I just had some auditions. That'll be, so fingers crossed on that. I have a national commercial that's going to be airing sometime this year, AT&T commercial. So that'll be coming across your TV screens, hopefully sooner than later. And hopefully I'm just blessed by the Most High, by my ancestors, just to, stay healthy, stay strong mentally, spiritually, physically, and to do this work. How people can stay tuned is follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Dejuan Christopher. I'm always, posting things that, what's going on in the career, there. It's pretty much all I post there. I keep a lot of family stuff private. And but yeah, just go to Instagram and Facebook. I'm not on X too much, but I'm there, Dejuan Christopher. But yeah, if you want to stay tuned in and just just keep looking. And also, I'm going to be doing something out here in Los Angeles this summer with my poetry. So yeah.
Have you published a book of poetry yet?
I haven't yet. To be honest with you, I have not. That'll be coming. I'm going to be doing a poetry night where I can invite some folks out. I'm going to see if we can figure out a way to stream it as well. And then I'm thinking about doing a one-man show through my poetry and then publish. Because, a lot of it that I write is, it's personal, whether it's failed relationships, the wonderful relationship that I'm in now with my wonderful girlfriend, Carrie, being a son, a grandson, being the son of Marion County. I write about so many different things, what I mean? Even from conversations that I've had with friends, those become, poems, if you will, too.
Right.
I'll be like, oh, can I use that? Because now I want to create something, write something. They'll be like, yeah, you get your blessing. So yeah, give me a blessing.
Well, thank you so much for taking out some time of the day and
Must
sit
have. Thanks
down.
for having me. Like, see, I didn't know you from a can of paint. We family. We from the same area. I didn't know that. The fact that you had reached out and as a sister, say, hey, brother, like, can you come on my platform? Sure, why not? Yeah. I love to come, meet and talk, and I love to come back if you have me. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
definitely.
Thanks for
Doors
having
are always open.
Cool.
Well, thanks everyone else out there for tuning into another episode of Breaking the Silence with this amazing. Now I know that's
That's right.
He's doing great things. Y'all got to check him out. I'm going to close us out when we do get closed out with a snippet of Katrina, one of the movies he was on. Great. He has a hand in everything, guys. Poetry, acting, directing, producing. But hey, he's from Marion County, so why not? I mean, greatness is born there. So it doesn't surprise me. So y'all make sure y'all follow him on Instagram. Please follow his journey and see where this goes. And we're gonna connect him to someone else, and we're gonna all win together. That's the purpose of this platform, for us to win together, for us to break the silence, whether it's a story we gotta tell, whether it's somebody that's doing great things in this world. So we gotta learn to support each other one by one so we can win one by one. Come on, y'all. It takes a village to raise a kid. Come on. It takes a village to get to where you're going to. Make it make sense. So the event coming up next year, the BTS Level Up Showcase, tickets are on sale, t-shirts are on sale. Please visit the website so you can grab you a t-shirt from Breaking the Silence. I just had an amazing logo made by Tamika Wright Banks. Oh my God, I love that logo. Y'all got to check that out. So now I said, I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Y'all got to get y'all a t-shirt for the event. Keynote speakers for that event is going to be Shamika Williams, Danny Marie, Tamika Wright Banks, Charlton Bradford Jefferson, and Alicia Page Glenn. She's another one from Marion County on the stage. Spoken word artist Josh V. He's from Marion County. Lady V, the poet, Marissa G, Tiffany Marie, and Jeremy Watson. They're gonna be the spoken word artists for that event. I'm also gonna have artists. Megan Lynette, that released her song on the Breaking the Silence open mic. She's gonna be there as an artist. Miracle Baby and Say Drip. So stay tuned. The venue has been locked in. So stay tuned for any more details that I may have. So next on the stage for the next appearance is going to be DJ Chase. He's a DJ, entrepreneur. He's another one that wears a lot of Kangos. And that's going to be Friday at 12:30. So remember, I'll leave you with a little bit of advice. Remember, the only person that's stopping you is who? You stopping yourself. So remember to go ahead and stop procrastinating. Start the journey. You got to start. So y'all stay tuned and let's break the silence together. So stay in there, and I'm going to play this clip from his movie. There we go.
Hello? Are you awake?
I've been stuck in this hospital room for 3 days. I'm Nyla, by the way.
Dante.
The news said something about it being in the coast of Florida.
Hope it's not too bad out there. What were they calling it?
Katrina, I think.
Nobody's coming for us. We're stuck in here.
Thank you so much to everyone that has supported me on this journey. I really appreciate everything that you have done thus far. Words will never be able to express the gratification that I have within my heart. Continue to like, share, and subscribe.